Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Life is harder than I like to think, but it's easy when you're by my side. No point in calling, you'll just have to see the fundamentals of our life tonight. Cause I've been looking at a photograph of you, and I've been thinking about all the ways you move. This isolation got me feeling like I'm moving my love. Yeah, when I wake up, I feel empty, not beside you. My whole life been searching just to find you. This quality, it hasn't got the right to keep us apart. Killing time, we got nowhere to be. You're sending messages I can't ignore. No contemplating, come here close to me. I'm bored at home, can't leave the house no more. But I've been looking at a photograph of you, and I've been thinking about all the ways you run. This isolation got me feeling like I'm losing my love. Yeah, when I wake up, I feel empty, not beside you. My whole life been searching just to find you. This quality, it hasn't got the right to keep us apart. Yeah, when I wake up, I feel empty, not beside you. My whole life been searching just to find you. This quality, it hasn't got the right to keep us apart.
Here is my dowry. Is it enough for love from the Magnum? Might I have your hand in marriage?
Please.
What?
There's too many
I got
pennies.
one case quarter.
A case caller.
It wasn't enough. For love for the Magnum. It wasn't enough. Hello, everybody. Okay, so I hope everybody out there is staying cool in North Carolina. It's already, I think, 90 degrees here. If it's not yet, it feels like it walking the dog. That's all I gotta say about that there. Let's see, what is the temperature? Because it was hot, man. Of course, I did have my compression pants. Yeah, it's 77, which, you know, when there's high humidity, it feels like 87. So there you go. Oh, I'm using the wrong backdrop. Hang on a minute. There we go. Let's delete that one as to not use it by accident again. Just delete that one. We got the Real Gypsy Soul. Yeah. 'Cause I'm back, man. I'm the Real Gypsy Soul. You know what I mean? Okay, so I guess I'll have to re-upload. What's this one say? Is that one say Gypsy? Nope. Bye-bye. That one's got to go. So I gotta upload my new ones. We could do that while we hang out, can't we? I had a friend of mine ask, what is cloud seeding? So we're going to talk about it for a minute. Let me upload some of these old don't need that anymore. Move to trash. Don't need that one anymore. Move to trash. Move to trash. Okay, where is my Gypsy Souls at? I didn't throw them away, did I? No. Surprised by that. I didn't know that I did that. There's one. Okay, let's see if I cover something. Do I have a overlay? I don't guess I'll worry about that right now, but I'm sure I've got an overlay I can use. Let's just jump right to the topic here of cloud seeding. So we're going to talk about why it was banned in Florida. Okay. Let me do those. I wish that it wouldn't air to both vertical and I don't know how to make it stop, because it tends to make it drag. But anyway, here we are. Did I get rid of all of those? Oh wow, all of them popped up. I didn't mean for that to happen. Oh well, let's go over to this. Let's not worry about it, right? StreamYard has a mind of its own sometimes. Okay, we're gonna find out. Let's see this one. We're just gonna play these here. Let me get my doohickey up here.
It's people from trying to modify the weather in Florida.
First Alert weather meteorologist Sammy Squires is asking a climate expert about the possible impacts, and she's talking to a company that tests cloud seeding.
On July 1st, Senate Bill 56 officially became law in Florida, banning the release of chemicals and other substances into the atmosphere for the purpose of altering factors like temperature, weather, climate, or sunlight intensity.
I did some digging and found while NOAA does not participate in cloud seeding or other weather modification projects,
The Weather Modification Reporting Act of 1972 requires anyone who intends to engage in weather modification in the U.S. to provide a report to NOAA at least 10 days prior to the activity. I looked through their database and found Rainmaker Technology Corporation, who in January filed a precipitation enhancement project on the Gulf coastline.
We fly drones into clouds to disperse material that induces precipitation to mitigate drought, wildfire risk, enhance water supply for farms, utilities, and governments.
Augustus Dorico is the CEO of Rainmaker. He tells me while they don't have an operational program in Florida, his goal is to regulate and safely increase water supply at the discretion of the state and potential customers like farms.
I just care about our country having the best technology for its agriculture and for its industry, and cloud seeding as of the last few years, because we've proven that it works.
I listened to Dorico explain while many are concerned about flooding from man-made rain, it only produces up to a few centimeters of rain, which would be very hard to flood a place with cloud seeding alone.
It's short term, it's fine, but if you constantly release a lot of things into the atmosphere, because we don't have the records, records that's not long enough.
I also asked about any long-term effects of cloud seeding to EJ Zhu, an assistant professor with FAU's Geosciences Department.
basically in order for us to see long-term effects, you need to have this going on for a long period of time and using a lot of material to actually figure out if there is a long-term impact.
Yes, and that will cost if we realize that it's a negative impact, then it's too late to stop.
Modifying the weather to make it rain in one place, you're also changing it won't rain.
That is focused on just one region, but maybe they also need to study the surrounding regions to see if weather modification change the rainfall for surrounding region as well. Are they getting less rainfall because of we modified the rainfall amount in region A? Does it mean we see a lot of decrease in rainfall in region B or C?
Zhu says weather modification can create challenges for future climate research.
And we were saying it's incredible. It's been around for decades, but I think it's still something a lot of people don't know a lot about that we're still learning about. So exactly how does cloud seeding work, Sammy?
Yeah, so it's basically the same thing as making it rain, right? So in order to get it to actually rain, you need rain molecules to attach to these tiny particles to get a cloud droplet to form. And this could be dust, salt, or even gases. So cloud seeding is basically the process of adding a small amount of these tiny particles, such as silver iodide, actually has a composition that's similar to an ice crystal. So it helps grow these droplets, and then once they get heavy enough, it falls to the earth as rain.
It's really interesting.
Yeah. Well, I can see the pros and cons of trying to control Mother Nature.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Thank
Sammy,
you, Sam.
really.
Years in prison and $100,000 in fines. Those are the new penalties for anyone trying to make it rain outlined in the bill Governor Ron DeSantis signed into law on June 20th. Senate Bill 56 outlaws geoengineering or weather modification. Chemtrails are one of the main concerns that State Senator Ileana Garcia of Miami, the bill's sponsor, cited in her proposal.
Yet many of us senators receive concerns, aka chemtrails to many.
While the senator may be referring to upper-level wispy cirrus clouds or contrails, she misidentifies them as chemtrails, which conspiracy theorists believe are clouds that form as a result of covert cloud seeding. Mick West, a science writer and fellow for the Committee of
seeding, is that it doesn't actually live in But what people are pointing at and what people are looking at in the sky are contrails.
But how did this confusion come about?
So they're kind of two different things. And I think people have got them mixed up because they think that they've heard that this chemtrail conspiracy theory is about geoengineering and weather modification. And then they discover that there's this thing called cloud seeding, which actually is weather modification.
Comments about these so-called chemtrails can be found on all of clouds, rain, and even hurricane forecasts. While chemtrails are not real, cloud seeding was the primary target of Senate Bill 56.
Cloud seeding starts with an ice nucleating particle. Naturally, that particle would be dust or salt that naturally occurs within the atmosphere, but in cloud seeding, it is an artificially injected particle of silver iodide. Water that is in a cloud would freeze around that particle and then go through a process called collision coalescence, which is essentially where it bumps into a bunch of other water vapor particles within a cloud, and those then freeze, forming a snowflake that is heavy enough to fall out of the cloud. If it is 32 degrees or above outside of that cloud, that snowflake will then turn into a rain droplet, and that is how we see clouds get seeded and then produce rainfall.
The main concerns Senator Garcia cites are the safety of these weather modification practices. So is cloud seeding safe?
The quantities that we're using it over hundreds of thousands of acres at a time, there's no adverse ecological effect, there's no adverse agricultural effect, there's no human health impact.
Cloud seeding's been done since the 1940s and 1950s, and it's something that's been done perfectly safely ever since then. The amount of the chemicals that are used typically silver iodide, is very, very small, and by the time it actually gets down to the ground.
Or geoengineering projects. Before this legislation, Chapter 403 of the Florida statutes put the Florida Department of Environmental Protection in charge of approving permits for geoengineering and cloud seeding. Additionally, on a federal level, the FAA and NOAA are required to be informed of any of these practices. A search of NOAA's reporting archives in the Florida Department of Environmental Protection's records show no documented cloud seeding in Florida during the last decade. Augustus Seeding was also unaware of any ongoing cloud seeding or other geoengineering projects in the state's recent history.
Yeah, there's nothing happening in Florida, to my knowledge.
Senator Garcia claimed in her proposal of Senate Bill 56 that cloud seeding no longer serves a practical purpose.
These statutes were originally enacted, in an era where weather modification was seen as a potential scientific tool, but they no longer serve a practical purpose.
Florida ranks second only to California in annual wildfire costs, recording nearly $270 million in losses annually. With drought primarily fueling these fires, was cutting a potential drought prevention measure worth the risk and the price?
Too low? Here's how to fix it. Sound too low? Here's how to fix it. Open Turbo Loud.
There's going to be pushback and misinformation from both sides. I mean, she's asking the guy who ran the company, is there a risk factor? Well, of course he's not going to be 100% honest with you there, lady, or he'd be out of a job. Anyway, here's Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Leading this effort is EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin. I am now going to play a video clip in which he recently addressed this issue personally and directly.
Americans have urgent and important questions about geoengineering and contrails. The American public deserves and expects honesty and transparency from their government when seeking answers. But for years, people who asked questions in good faith were dismissed, even vilified by the media and their own government. That era is over. The Trump EPA is committed to total transparency. As a result, I tasked my team at EPA to compile a list of everything we know about contrails and geoengineering for the purpose of releasing it to you now publicly. In other words, I want you to know everything I know about these topics and without any exception. Concerns as baseless conspiracies, we're meeting them head on. We did the legwork, looked at the science, consulted agency experts, and pulled in relevant outside information to put these online resources together. Everything we know about contrails to solar geoengineering will be in there. That means anyone who reads through this information will know as much about these topics as I do as EPA administrator. To anyone who's ever looked up to the streaks in the sky and asked, what the heck is going on? Or seen headlines about private actor in the name of stopping global warming, we've endeavored to answer all of your questions at the links on your screen. In fact, EPA shares many of the same concerns when it comes to potential threats to human health and the environment, especially from solar geoengineering activities. The enthusiasm for experiments that would pump pollutants into the high atmosphere has set off alarm bells here at the Trump EPA. Prior to now, EPA has never been this proactive to raise awareness about concerns with geoengineering and to stop this activity from being scaled up. This is what it looks like when government actually listens to the will of the people and doesn't try to squash it. You can always trust this administration and this EPA to take your concerns seriously, answer your questions honestly, and carry out the will of voters with integrity.
Let me go back to that. Hold on a second. I wanted to hear what Marjorie Taylor Greene had to say, so give me just 2 seconds. Pull that back up. I took it down too soon. Okay, let me share this.
I look forward to hearing from our witnesses, but first,
Oh, the shoot, they cut her off, didn't they?
And to Tallahassee now, the Florida Senate passed a bill today banning weather manipulation, things like cloud seeding and geoengineering. Scientists use the practice to help bring rain to certain areas that need it. Supporters of the bill cite concerns about potential environmental and public health risks. If it becomes law, anybody in violation would face a third-degree felony.
This is about protecting Florida's environment and public health. With no federal guidelines in place, Florida must take responsibility for its own airspace.
I'm not, denying that there might be something going on. It's just we have to have the right methodology to take care of it. And, that's what we do in state government. It's not right for us to just slap on fines or, penalties for folks if we don't really know what we're doing.
Well, the bill also calls for the creation of a hotline for the public to report any suspicious activity. A similar bill is moving through the Florida House.
Well, thanks, everybody.
Okay, I want to Can y'all hear me? I see. I want to go back to. There was right here, the one local to me is the one I wanted to go to next.
Chemtrails and contrails. Do you know the difference? Do you even know what they are? The terms are often interchanged erroneously. They are not the same. And some keyboard warriors combine the streaks in the sky with weather modification, sparking controversy and conspiracy theories. Now a new bill is being introduced to ban such modifications that release substances into the atmosphere.
Chief Transportation Correspondent and pilot May K. Beeler fills us in on the latest lawmaker aiming to make weather manipulation a crime. May K?
Yeah, so in late June, Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis signed a law that prohibits the injection, release, or dispersion of chemicals or substances into the atmosphere for the purpose of altering weather, temperature, climate, or sunlight intensity. And now Georgia's Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene is following suit. She is introducing a similar bill with the exact same language, making geoengineering and weather modification a federal felony. She says we must end the dangerous and deadly practice of weather modification and geoengineering. She wrote that regarding the proposed bill in a post on X. This would outlaw cloud seeding. That's a method to trigger rain or snow. It's been in use for 80 years. Proponents see cloud seeding as a way to put more water in streams, rivers, and reservoirs. Opponents see it as an aggressive practice that could be unethically used to cause floods or weather disasters to purposely harm people. And then there are the chemtrail theorists.
Ooh, all right, we're unpacking a lot here, May K. Chemtrails. What are those? What is that?
I'm going to try to explain it as a flight instructor so everyone understands it simply. To understand chemtrails, which scientists say have zero evidence, we need to review contrails, which are just natural byproducts of jet engines. You know, those white streaks across the sky, the line-shaped clouds, they're made by aircraft engine exhaust. Well, short for condensation trails, it's a trail of condensed water from a plane or a rocket at high altitude. It's formed when water vapor from hot jet engine exhaust condenses and freezes in the cold atmosphere. Now, this is important. How long they last depends on how dry or humid the air is. But conspiracy theorists believe the ones that linger are actually chemtrails, meaning they contain and emit toxic chemicals or poisons the government allegedly deliberately put in jet fuel, polluting the air to harm the public. Now, while there's no evidence to prove this, officials like U.S. Health Secretary RFK Jr. claims the Department of Defense is allegedly behind the spraying of these harmful chemicals for nefarious purposes. Now, if the weather modification bill passes, cloud seeding, a very popular and necessary weather altering.
She sounds surprised that the government tries to unalive its own people. Did she not live through the vid?
Technique could become a thing of the past.
Okay, so obviously none of us are scientists. The good news for all of us, we do have a scientist on staff. Meteorologist Brandon Lawson is going to join us now to explain the science behind it and how it all works. Brandon, make us all smarter.
Yes, I like to compare cloud seeding to jump starting a car. You know, we are just using the battery that's already there to give that battery juice and start the car. We're not creating a whole new battery. With cloud seeding, we're just using a cloud or a thunderstorm that's already there to speed up the process in either creating more rain or helping that cloud create rain in general. So this is a cloud picture I took yesterday. This is made up of a bunch of tiny water droplets or ice crystals that give us that cloud visible illusion. And when you're warming the air or the atmosphere from the sun, you're allowing the air to rise, and that air rises and it cools, and those water vapor molecules, they cool and condense dust or particles in the atmosphere. If we didn't have any air pollution at all in the sky, we would never have clouds and we never have what's called condensation nuclei. And that's dust particles that can form from wildfire smoke, that can form from pollen, volcanic eruptions, things like that. And you get enough cloud droplets forming around that nuclei, and you get the water droplets to form in the sky, and that's how we get our clouds. Now, cloud seeding is just adding more particles to the atmosphere to try and create more rain. And it doesn't have to be anything that hard. I mean, we've seen folks use dry ice, salt, literally table salt can be used to help create cloud seeding and more rain. Silver iodide is the most commonly used agent to help with this, but clouds have to be present. We can't create thunderstorms. We can't create clouds. Clouds already have to be there. We have to have the thunderstorm clouds present to fly through or fly under or even shoot the cannons of silver iodide and salt into them. And this isn't new. It was created in the 1940s. It was used in the Vietnam War, believe it or not, to flood.
He's talking awfully condescending.
Out enemies. It was used in China in order to rain out clouds before they got to the Olympics. So this isn't a new thing. This has been around for several years. You just have to have the right cloud. We need a thunderstorm cloud. So let's go inside the cloud, show you what's happening with the cloud seeding process. So you have super cold water droplets within the cloud here. Water droplets that are below freezing, but they're not frozen. They're still in their liquid form. What ends up happening is, let's just take the plane, for example. It flies through the cloud, and it brings that silver iodide in the cloud. That silver iodide is going to act as that condensation nuclei, essentially that nuclei that the water droplets are going to be able to coalesce to or combine with. And eventually, the water droplets, the super cool droplets, connect with that silver iodide, and that's going to form your ice or snow. And eventually, this process continues to repeat to where the snow and ice gets heavy enough, gravity takes over, and it allows the snow or ice to fall out of the sky as precipitation.
Queen City News.
All right, hopefully that answered all your questions. It's like really, really hot today, so I'm not dashing with the hubby. I'm at home doing chores. So I guess I'll catch y'all later. Bye now.
Bye-bye. Thanks now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.